Why, hello there. Every plant is special, like this one right here. Like you, like me. And today, on this episode of Mission Nature, we examine something so simple, yet so sophisticated. Hi, my name is Russell.
I'm Jocelyn. And I'm Monica.
And today we're going to talk about our biology ecology project. First, let us talk about our area. Our area is approximately 31.5 meters by 20 meters.
And it's located behind the A-wing and is on an incline exported by Palm Avenue. There are a lot of patches of short dead grass and dirt, and there's also a lot of juniper bushes. There are 2 trees in our area, and the species that we studied were damselflies and ladybugs. Our hypothesis was that as the temperature increased, then the species diversity would decrease.
When we first visited our location site, we looked out for different organisms we could study.
We noticed that there were many ladybugs, what we thought were dragonflies, and different plants. For the organisms, we found that many were near the juniper bush or in the low dead grass.
When we sampled, we looked in these areas for these organisms.
For the plants, we checked on the greenness of the leaves, the status of berries on the bushes, and what organisms were nearby.
My species is the Matenus borea.
This is a walnut tree. On this walnut tree are small ants. When I was observing this tree, they crawled on my arm and freaked me out. These are the leaves of a walnut tree. They're small, sort of pointy with sawtooth edge. The walnut tree can also harbor many animals like small squirrels and birds. Sometimes we hear little birds chirping in these twigs, branches.
It belonged in the family of Molina. It is apparently a non-native invasive species to California and Fremont, but it is because it is able to resist drought and the oak tree root fungus. It is registered as a big tree in Fremont. Normally it looks like a weeping willow with a high canopy, and during the summer it will have small dry fruit colored orange or brown. When I observed my species, there were ants and birds that were living near the tree. The tree could live in harmony with the species around this area in our quadrant because it did not kill them. There were a lot of ants.
Okay, so this area right here is where a lot of ladybugs are found. As you can see, there's a lot of tall or short, low-lying grass. And like in this area, ladybugs like to creep around and hide because it's an ideal environment and it provides shade and it's still providing covering and protection for the ladybug. So the species that I observed was the ladybug, and we found that the ladybugs were especially distributed in the low-lying, kind of dead grassy area in the middle of our territory. And so the classification of the ladybug is domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia, like animals, phylum Arthropoda, like invertebrates, class Innesta, like insects, order Coleoptera, which is beetles, family Coccinellidea, which is a lady beetle, genus Anatus, which is a type of lady beetle, and species Ocellata. And so the ladybugs were particularly prevalent during the sunny times, and they came out during the sun, and when it was cloudy or rainy, we did not see that many ladybugs. So this was a common trend of ladybugs coming out during the sunlight and when there is a lot of bright light outside, and especially in the afternoon.
So I observed what I thought was dragonflies, but later turned out to be damselflies, and they were usually around this bush, and they like to stay in the shade. And yeah, in the beginning there were a lot of them, but later on they decreased. And what I studied was what I thought were dragonflies, but found out to be damselflies. They're from the species Analgma civile and from the genus Analgma. It is also called a familiar bluet, and they're native to much of the United States and Southern California. They're from the family Coenogranidae, and I found that in the beginning there were a lot of damselflies, but as the temperature increased, the number of damselflies decreased. I observed that the damselflies were usually around shade and like to hang out around the juniper bushes.
So this is my species. As you can see, it's a very large bush and does not smell nice.
Okay, I forgot what else was it?
The before and after.
Before, it used to have white flowers, but now it doesn't have any. I don't know, what is it? It's starting to pollinate? You know, I'm just like, cut!
The species that I observed was a shrub commonly called the buckbrush. Its species name is Cenothis cannatus, family name Rhamnaceus. It is native to California and it produces white flowers that bloom in the spring. From my observations, the buckbrush attracted a variety of insects when in bloom. These insects include bumblebees, honeybees, wasps, flies, butterflies, and small gnats.
So as we can see over here, there are a lot of berries in this bush, and we've been noticing this bush has a low-lying habitat area, and within these, the berries are generally dark bluish colored, almost grayish, and throughout the course of observing the berries, we noticed that the berries actually darkened. They were originally a dark blue, and now they're kind of drying up and they're turning gray.
The species I'm studying is a juniper bush. The kingdom is Plantae, the family is Cupressaceae, and the genus is Juniperus. In our area, there were several juniper bushes, and there weren't many insects around the bushes, but they were covered in small little purple berries that at the start of our investigation were pretty prevalent but decreased over time. But there were a lot of spiders around the bushes and spider webs in the bushes.
Now for our conclusion. We noticed many different patterns in our species around our quadrant. For example, my willow tree showed a lot more activity in the canopy. For example, my willow tree showed more activity in the canopy when there was a decrease in temperature.
I studied damselflies, and I found that in the beginning, when the temperatures were cooler, there were a lot of damselflies, around 15 or so, but as the temperature increased, the damselflies decreased.
I studied ladybugs, and I noticed that when it was sunnier or hotter, the ladybugs were more prevalent. However, during these times, the ladybugs would always be scurrying around and trying to look for a shady environment.
For my species, the buckbrush, the flowers changed from white to brown due to pollination, so they died, and then they formed seed pods. The bugs around my bush decreased dramatically.
I studied the juniper bushes, and I noticed that while the plants themselves didn't really change, the berries on them, while there was a lot in the beginning, they decreased a lot throughout the experiment, and by the end, there weren't that many, and the ones over there turned like a darker, very chalky color.
So now we are going to ask our proximate and ultimate question, which is related to damselflies. The proximate question would be, how do damselflies interact in warmer environments?
Our ultimate question is, why do damselflies decrease as temperature gets warmer? Based on our observations, we found that because the damselflies are exothermic, they tend to come out when temperatures are lower or stay in shade.
And two things we learned throughout the experiment is that there's less species richness when it's really windy outside.
Also, what we thought were originally dragonflies were actually damselflies.
Thank you for watching our presentation.